dear friend, Prince, yes, what Shanar says is absolutely true. We in PEN regard him as one of our best informers when it comes to what's going on in one of the most troublesome countries we are working on, as a matter of fact, unfortunately, in PEN. I will not make a report. I will, because a report would be not for me to do. It would be for Sarah Wyatt, our Writers in Prison program director, who has been here also many times and is a good friend of Shanar and all of you here. I would like instead to make some reflections more generally about the freedom of expression and about the society. So when I listened to the statements made earlier today, I said to myself, this is a typical example of being a representative of an international organization who most of the time are situated far away from where the actions are taking place. Here I was listening to people who have felt on their own skin and bodies what it means to be prosecuted, threatened, jailed, and curtailed on the rights to freedom of expression. And we, the international organizations, we are supporting, we are sympathizing, we are shocked, and so forth. But still we are not there. So you have to bear in mind that what I'm saying is as a representative of such a view. Although I live here in Istanbul, I still feel I am just a viewer. And that is painful for many of us who has to realize that the last step, so to speak, we cannot take. We are not at risk. We are safe. And again, 2 years have passed. Again, we gather here to focus on the never-lasting abuses of the individual's right to free expression. We gather to take the temperature on countries around us, and we have just listened to a number of different abuses in this country. In PEN, we have worked on Turkey for a long time. I myself since the beginning of the 90s, and we can hardly deny that some has changed to the better. Not that many political activists and writers are put behind bars for decades. Most trials, after all, ends with fines, acquittal, or are laid down. The atmosphere is perhaps less hostile on the surface, but the mentality among those in power are more or less the same as before. Censorship and arbitrary misuse occurs frequently. Statements meant to curtail free expressions reaches from the outrageous to the absurd, not to say the ridiculous. With one hand, the power signs documents meant to broaden the citizens' rights. With the other, they contradict and limit the meaning and value of these amendments. Article 301 and at least half a dozen of other articles are still not only valid, they are in frequent use. At the same time, the perhaps most challenging investigation in decades has started. The Ergenekon file is opened. I will not occupy your time by explaining the operation or speculate in the complicated pattern of motives behind the ambitions to try to unveil what for far too long have been another taboo in Turkey, the deep state. I will only claim that what we witness these days can be another power game, but it might also, and hopefully, be the beginning of a process similar to the one we have seen brave judges, prosecutors, and police commissioners working on in the south of Italy since the 70s. To fight a system so fundamentally rooted is nothing you can succeed doing in a year or two, but it is a process which a society has to go through on its way to a functioning democracy, and which evidently will implement a number of healthy side effects regarding the citizens' view on the society. From being the obedient subjects with a screaming nationalistic, religious, or both, confused stomach feeling, to become responsible members of society worth their concern. Why do I mention this? Because, in my opinion, freedom of expression in a society ultimately is related to the citizens' possibility to choose, to judge, and to feel that what they decide is based on relevant and reliable information, that they are trusted and regarded as valuable elements by those they themselves have elected as their representatives to govern their communities, their cities, and ultimately their country. In short, by those whom they have put in a position to serve them. In my opinion, nothing can be more frightening to the power than a society consisting of these kind of citizens. And to avoid the strengthening of such a democratic society, which of course is the only possible real democracy, the power in most of the world has always used violence, arbitrary rules, which I call rubber laws, poverty and blind belief, so even today. To tell the truth is in far too many parts of our world the most dangerous exercise you can practice. So, what the power needs is fear. Fear of everything from the gangsters in the next district to God. And we who want to fight the power, we need networks, information, channels, and imagination. We need to reveal and understand the new methods used to pass over barricades of just laws and over demands, yes, but first of all, we need the courage to stand up against those who want to discriminate and threaten us. And among them, the fighters in the first line are the investigating reporters, journalists, and brave writers. Those who has to fight not only the threats, but also their own fear. These people are the heroes of our time. In oppressive societies, critical and investing writers and intellectuals are still put behind bars. But in addition to that, they are also murdered. The number of killed journalists is increasing the last couple of years and reached a scaring peak in 2008. What the number will be this year is something which should give us nightmares to think about, but also the strength and anger to go on with what we all are doing. Thank you.